Hey everybody, Dean Young, Home Tech. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Friday. Hopefully it's the beginning to the weekend for most. I know some people still have to work weekends. We had another inspection scheduled this afternoon, and they called yesterday to reschedule for next week. So that allows me a little bit of free time this afternoon to just take care of some stuff, which is always good. So, the inspection I done this morning was in Moxville. Small property, cute little property. Older, 1973-ish, I believe, 49 years old. And there was some things. And the buyers showed up like right after I walked to the front door, they were pulling in. And the whole time they were outside, and then they came inside. Then their agent showed up, and then we were doing the crawl space. They had like multiple access for the crawl space, which were really mediocre. But we got done, and we were getting ready to head in to go over the summary, and the agent walked out and said that the buyers had to get to work. And I really don't understand why people show up at the beginning of the home inspection and just stand around and just kill time anticipating stuff. I do understand that some people like to measure, and some people want to just look at some things again, but I don't know. Everybody's got their own reasoning, I guess, for everything. But that's why we always ask that you show up at least the last half hour. You know, that will allow you some time to do some measurements and look at some things and be ready for the summary. So we got done, and like I said, we were getting ready to walk in. The agent was walking out and said the buyers had to leave. And she was like, first thing came out of her mouth, is there anything major? And I said, well, I'm going to go over the complete summary and just go over everything briefly, give you an idea of what's going on here. She goes, well, I just want to know the major things. And that really bothered me. I sat there for a minute. My brain was thinking. I was just trying to stay calm, because that really came across bad. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've said this in multiple videos. Everybody looks at the home inspection report or deficiencies or things that we may think have an issue. They look at them differently. A slab crack may be a major concern to one person, but not another person. A loose railing may be a major concern for one person and maybe not another person. Maybe it's a major concern because they have a family member that is disabled or may rely on the railing and it to be really stable. If it's just a healthy young guy, there's a little bit of wiggle to it, he may not think it's a big deal. So everybody's got their reasoning for maybe something will be major or not major. So when you come to me as an agent and saying, I want to know all the major stuff, what's the major stuff? I don't don't know where to start. Just let me do my summary. Let me start from the beginning and go through. Some things may be maintenance, some things may seem major, some things may not seem major. It's just how you approach it. Every contractor is going to approach it differently. Every buyer, seller, every person is going to look at that differently. So where do I start? So then I just start doing my normal stuff. And she's like, I just want to know the major stuff. What's the big stuff? And I was like, you're really throwing me out of my, what was the word at the time? I can't think straight now. Like, you're really throwing me out of my summary, you know, here, because I like to go through everything, to cover everything. She goes, well, I'm going to see those little things in the report anyway. And I'm thinking, well, you're going to see the major stuff in the report anyway. So do you just want to get the report and just leave? Or, I mean, what do you want me to go over? What do you want me to discuss with you? Something I may think is major may not be major to somebody else. It may not be major to you. Some things that I thought have been major, I've mentioned to agents before. Oh, that ain't nothing. That ain't. Well, you're an agent. How do you know? The buyer may look at it different. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody's understanding and getting my context of this. So I was going through the summary, skipping through stuff, and like, you know, I'm there to go over the complete summary with you, to educate you. Maybe you'll learn something, you know? A lot of agents like to learn, and they like to hear everything, and they want to ask questions and get some knowledge. That's what I'm all about. I tell everybody the reason I do videos, I've been doing them since I was doing contracting 28 years ago. Cell phones may not have been available then, but as soon as I was able to get a phone that had video camera, I've been doing videos for a long, long time. Like I said, even when I was doing contracting work many moons ago. So I do it for educational purposes, for people can learn things and pick up on stuff and have better understanding about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it. You know, just to learn about me and learn about things going on in this industry, or just maybe personal things that I see or I want to talk about. That's why I do the videos. Some people love them, some people ignore them, some people hate them, some people text me during the day, ask me questions, even though they don't use me as a regular inspector, but they do. So there's their reasoning why they have their referred inspector that they typically refer to their buyers. Everybody's got their reasons. And I said before, there's agents out there that do not use me or refer me to their buyers or sellers, but when they want to buy an investment property or they want to buy a personal home for themselves, they call me. They've got their reasonings for it. I mean, I don't know. You could look at it in different ways. You could say, well, their other inspector is not as detailed, and there's a good chance that the deal will go through a lot smoother. Or, I don't know. Or they may think, I want to use some of my personal stuff because this guy's really thorough, and you know, there's a less chance of whatever. But the thing is, if an inspector that is not as thorough, just because your deal goes through does not mean there's going to be consequences for that inspector and potentially the agent. And you say, well, why would the agent be whatever? Because there's a lot of agents that like to play inspector. They're not licensed to do so. Anybody that's on a property that's doing inspecting is in violation of the North Carolina Licensing Board standards of practice. You need to be licensed individual to do inspecting. So when we're in a home and an agent says, did you see that leak back over there in the corner? Did you see this over here? What about this over here? Why are you doing that? Let me do that. If you see something, keep it to yourself. You know, in your mind, keep it. If something was overlooked and it's not mentioned on the report, and you say, well, I'm not going to use this guy again, he overlooked this, he overlooked that, that's up to you. But don't play inspector, especially around your buyers. Yeah, there looks like a stain there. It could be da da da. You don't know. You're not a qualified individual to make any determinations of what something is or isn't. Just like we're not. We are visual inspectors. We see things, we do evaluations, and we refer what we think would be the qualified individual, or we ask for the qualified individual to do further evaluation. We bring safety issues, things that are not functioning as intended, fire, safety, some health concerns depending on what it is. That's why we're required to have a copy of the standards of practice available for the buyers or the sellers, whoever we're doing inspection for, so they will have an understanding about what we are required to report on and not required to report on. A lot of people have their own interpretation of what they think we're required to report on, and I sound like a broken record sometimes, repeating myself over and over and over and over about what we are required to report on, what we're not required to report on. So the only person that can come in a home with a buyer or buyer's agent and do inspecting type without a license would be a licensed general contractor. They're qualified individuals to do that, even though they're doing it without a without being licensed by the Home Inspector Board. They're one of the few individuals that can. He's a general contractor, licensed general contractor, so they can do multiple things up to $33,000. So, or over that. But if you do contracting under $33,000, you don't have to be licensed. But if you do over 33, I think it's 33, you have to be licensed, and you're qualified to work with your electrical subs, your plumbing subs, your framing subs, HVAC, roofers, all that stuff. So there's a lot into it. I recommend you go to the North Carolina Home Inspector Licensing Board website. There is a lot of information. There is these standards of practice that is available on there. If you could read through it, it goes through everything, ethics and all that good stuff. And so educate yourself. And that's why I ask questions about realtors when I see or hear something that I don't think it's right, or doesn't seem right, or seems a little off. That's why I ask questions. Like the agent for yesterday, I was a little thrown off when I went over the summary with the buyer, and she said, she was looking at her phone and said, my agent just said to not send him the report, that he does not want to be responsible for disclosing anything. He wants me to do that, reach out to the sellers. And she laughed and said, I don't know if that's legal or not. I said, I don't know. I'm not a realtor, and I'm not a real estate attorney. I don't know. I said, that sounds weird to me, but who am I? I'm just a home inspector. So she was like, oh well. So what happened with that was, this was in what area was it? Because it kind of threw me off, because we are part of the Canopy, we are part of the Triad and the Triangle MLS, all those Super Access, Century Key access, and showing time, all that stuff. But when they said it was a super key, so I got there and I kept getting an error message, and I was like, I've seen that before. I looked it up and it says that we don't have access, or wrong area, or whatever. So I called Supra and they were like, no, that is mid Carolina. So I was like, Mid Carolina? I've never heard of Mid Carolina. And she's like, yeah, it goes from here, and you're only for here. And I was like, wow, I had no idea there was another little section that, yeah, wow. So, our Supra don't work. If we can go through showing time and get the key code, but we can't get the Supra access, which was weird. So, I called the agent, the buyer's agent, and he was like, well, just update your key and it should work. And I was like, no, they're saying that I don't have access to showing time in this area. And I thought it was kind of weird. And he was like, okay, I'll be there in a minute. So he showed up in shorts, t-shirt, 30 degrees outside. He opened it and then he left. Just in and out, bam, bam. And I thought that was weird. It's like, he don't even want to talk to us or nothing. Totally ignored us, pretty much. And I'm thinking, this guy, what kind of relationship are you forming with your vendors? I thought it was really odd. The whole thing about the way he acted when he opened the door, and then the message that he sent from the buyer that she relayed to us. I just thought it was really weird. That's why I had that question yesterday on Facebook. I just thought it was pretty odd, but anyway, I'm at the crib. It's Friday and it's almost lunchtime, and getting here, knock this out, and hopefully enjoy the rest of my Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and get back at it next week. So yeah, pretty exciting. The grass is still looking good, nice. I don't know if we're gonna do probably one more cut or so, I don't know, but it's looking good. So anyway, guys, you know the drill. If you need a home inspection, reach out to us, 336-989-8185, hometechnc.com. Oh, I am reaching out to the I've got an appointment at the bank later this afternoon, like 4:30ish, just to talk about the DBA deal. If I have to change my account number and all that stuff, if I just can't add the DBA name, then I don't know, man. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. But anyway, that's about it, man. Again, 336-989-8185, 336-989-8185. hometechnc.com. Going to take off my solar shields here. Love these things, man. Save myself some money on buying glasses, prescription sunglasses. Waste of money. Want that financial peace, people. Want to be a baby steps millionaire. I'm up in age. I probably won't make the baby steps millionaire part unless something drastically changes financially, but hey, I'm gonna still go for it. Anyway, guys, love you guys. Dean Young, Home Tech.